This is Joyce Tice at the History Center, and I'm here talking to...
I'm Carl Helrich. I'm a junior at Mansfield University, liberal studies major, and my main focus there is to do extracurriculars rather than a career path that I have for myself, which I have no idea what I'm doing.
So I'm talking to Carl Helrich.
Helrich. Yes.
Helrich, who's the editor of the Carontawan, the Yearbook. And what's special about this yearbook, Carl?
What's so special about it? Well, for this year, it's been brought back. This is the first book since 2014, and before that, it was 1990. So there was a one-off edition in 2014-15, but besides that, we have about 30 years of Mansfield University history that we don't have in a yearbook. The best historical documents that we have are the Flashlight newspaper, which I've been digging through a little bit, but it's nothing as compilatory as an end-of-year yearbook for the...
Well, yearbooks are a time capsule, not just for the school they represent, but for the community. And the first one was in 1918. Before that, they had quarterlies that just might have a class list or something, but it's a very important record of what went on that year locally, so it's really a gap. So what prompted you to start this?
So I spent a lot of free time walking around the buildings and the campus, whatever, and I ended up in a storage closet in Alumni Hall, where there's just a big bookshelf full of all of the yearbooks. I think the oldest one they have here is 1925. So I just started looking through them and looking for the organizations I was a part of. And I'm one of those people, if I get an idea in my head, like a project, I have to make it happen. It needs to somehow come to fruition somehow.
It's a big project.
It's the biggest project I've ever seen completed. So it was last spring, so about a year ago now, that I was like, oh, I wonder if I could bring this back. And I started looking into the name of the Carontawan, all of the old editions that we have on the library website. And in the fall, last semester, I reached out to Holly Jackson in the library for a faculty advisor, who I couldn't ask for any better advisor. She was my first choice. And a few other friends that I knew on campus, and I had them hold positions so we could be an official organization. And we just kind of started setting out the framework for what the eventual book would look like. We didn't really have anything to go off of. For whatever reason, I've made a square book where all the other Carontawans are
rectangular.
Vertical.
Yeah, vertical.
So we just started throwing things at our digital interface. We used the online photo book editor Mixbook, which has like an in-website editor, and then you can print directly from there. So we just started throwing things at the book to see what would work, and about, especially this semester, we started to kick into full gear and start putting stuff on pages. And my initial goal was to have a 40-page yearbook. If we just had 40 pages, then I would be happy. This, I think, is sitting at, it's 191.
And that's not the final edition.
No, there's a final edition that we'll have coming out early June with all the end-of-year stuff. It'll probably add maybe 20 pages more. We've had our end-of-year Mountie Fest. We've had, we'll have the whole commencement bit, which I've weaseled my way into attending as a junior to take photos for the book. But yeah.
And you did point out, well, I think one of the reasons that maybe the yearbook was discontinued was because of the cost.
Yes.
And they are. I know the high school yearbooks now cost, $65, $70, maybe more now. Mm-hmm. And so it's a big investment. So what is the cost of this one? And I see that you have a nice hardbound edition.
Yes.
What formats is it available in, and what is the cost to the consumer?
Yeah, so Mixbook, you can print individual, custom editions with various, printing choices and whatnot.
This is online. You go online to do it.
So there's, an order link. And then you can choose, a softback or hardcover or one with a dust jacket to it or different kinds of pages. So you can change the price probably within about $50 by bringing the options down or bringing them up. I bought mine, which is the 8.5 book. There's also a 10-inch one and a few other options for $160, which is much, much higher than we would want. I don't think anyone else on campus has bought one this semester. I wouldn't blame them.
You have the deluxe version.
Yeah. I have a few friends who have actually printed out the book in its entirety and had people sign
That's
theirs.
a lot of ink toner.
It's a lot of ink. Using our printers, it's probably, I think, one of my friends said it was like $15 to print the whole thing,
oh, really?
which is a whole lot cheaper than this one.
Can you get the PDF version?
Yes, we've emailed the PDF out to the Mansfield community best that we can. We want to try and get that link out as far as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's free to everyone. It'll be on the library website, that final product. But
what kind of problems did you run into that you didn't expect, or how did you overcome them?
Well, we knew it was a massive project. Like, the biggest thing I've ever tried to accomplish here, up until this year, I was the general manager of the radio station, which I helped kind of build up, but that was like a slow process. With the newspaper, we used to do bi-weekly issues, which is just 8 pages. This was 3 solid weeks of work,
Wow.
right at the end of the semester, because I didn't space out the time across the entire bit.
What's the first time you've done it?
Yeah. So
I mean, if you do it next year, you'll be better organized.
Hopefully we'll learn a little bit. We kind of like turned on the work sessions and then went for 3 solid weeks just to get the thing completed. The biggest challenge was getting photos and content from the community. Our biggest outreach were our student and faculty broadcasts, which we did through email, and we did a little bit of stuff on social media, but not all that much. But I think my very, very rough estimate is we probably got input from about 30% of the Mansfield faculty and maybe 5% of students. Probably about 150 students sent us things.
Well, it probably was worse this year because very few people are on campus. Everything is so separated.
Yeah.
And I imagine for students who have never even been on campus, it's hard to even think of themselves as being here.
Yeah, we only had about 500 students on campus this year. So our theme, which I have on the first page here, hashtag Mountie Spirit, which was kind of our, like a virtual, it's like our hashtag. Like, even though we're all virtual and we're all online, we still have this spirit tied to the school. So we tried to highlight that a little bit with our return issue. And that'll be the biggest thing we look to improve on, is letting people know that we have a yearbook to begin with, because everyone I'm around most of them can't pronounce this word, which is very, very fun. Trying to bring it up in student government and teasing the president that he can't say our name right.
He can't say it.
I mean, he eventually got it. It took him a few weeks, but he got it. But just the awareness of people not knowing that we exist, and then getting them to follow through to send us photos and whatnot. Because if I talk to someone directly, there's probably a 30% chance that they'll go back to their room and send me a photo.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's, I had a whole, I think I sat in Alumni Hall for like 4 or 5 hours talking to people walking by. And a few of them would say like, oh yeah, I'll send you things as soon as I get back. I've got this photo, I've got these sports photos. And that day I had 2 people send me photos.
Wow. Well, that's kind of, that doesn't really surprise me.
No, student involvement is the hardest thing to overcome.
Well, not just students. I mean, I have the same experience with people. And, you know, I've been guilty of that kind of thing too.
Yep, absolutely. It's I'll do that eventually. Once I get around to it, that'll be tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, we all have good intentions. Yeah. Well, so you're a junior, so you're very enthusiastic about this, and you expect to do it next year. Are there any sophomores or freshmen on your staff?
Yeah, we have 1 sophomore. We have a staff of, I think, 5 or 6.
That's pretty small.
It's very, very small.
For a project of that scale.
Yeah, and well, they all work for at least 5 individuals each. So without them, this thing would not be possible.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I found the most dedicated people on this campus to help me put this together. But that'll be our big push at the beginning of next year, is recruitment. And I'm actually going to be in Austria for the fall semester as
Oh,
a study
that's-
abroad program.
Okay.
So I'm going to do a lot of remote working best I can, and then we'll
Well,
do
you
our
need
big
to build a
push.
staff
Yes.
to carry on, to make it a regular thing. And I hope you succeed in that.
Yes. I really, we're going to do a big push beginning at Mountie Days, which is like the big orientation event for incoming students of, hey, this is a yearbook. If you have any experience, if you have no experience, we want you. It's a fun project. It's the best way to get to know the school is through the old editions and seeing like what all parts of campus are. Yeah, and we did our best to set this book up in a way that it's repeatable. So it's not that complex, not that customized. It has like sections that at least give a template for the future generations who
Good.
I hope take over.
Well, congratulations on your success. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we close out?
This has been... I didn't know what to expect coming to college. I don't know why I ended up in a small school. I don't know why I ended up here. The biggest thing drawing me to this place is how gorgeous the area is. I took a drive up trying to get hours for my driver's permit, and we ended up in Mansfield of all places.
Where are you from?
Southern York County, so about 3.5 hours south of here. But seeing the history of this place, we've been around for a little bit up here, and seeing everything that's come before me and various legacies that I can continue on. That's the word that stuck out. That's like the motto of my years: legacy of what's come before. What do I leave behind on this campus? And getting to leave something like this behind.
Oh, that's
is
fantastic.
my favorite thing I've ever done here. 100%.
Well, it's a great start on a
It is.
future.
And I can guarantee at least one more book, and I really hope it continues after I'm gone, because there's one thing to see a product that you've done, there's another to see your legacy continued. And
Right.
I get to see that a few organizations, because I'm stepping out next semester, that I get to see new people into the positions that I've held, and watching them accomplish things, that's an even better feeling.
Well, thank you so much for coming in, and we're really
Absolutely.
excited about your project.
Me too.
Okay.
It'll go places.
Thank you.
Thank you.